And coming to you live from Conara, Tasmania, right off the coast of Melbourne. We are here with the 14th installment, two more before 16, the 14th installment of ESL Open Cup Fueled by Dare. I'm your host, Yaku of Yakuzaku, and with me today I have El Bastion Sin Preguntas himself, Light_VIP. How we doing, Light?
Every time you intro me, it takes me a couple of seconds to realize what you're trying to say. God damn it. And we should get underway as... Oh, of course, we have a 12 pool.
That is something we're looking at in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner of Everdream, LE, Daily Edle. We do, in fact, have the Teal'c player coming out all the way from the land down under. He is representing Mind Freak FC. Going 12 pool, we have MightyKiwi.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the Australian Zerg player representing himself, but also kind of OC Elite. It's complicated. We have Vivid.
I'm getting flashbacks, Light. I'm getting flashbacks. Oh, are we gonna see a drone pull?
It looks like we're not. It's just you know, yeah. It's just a 12 pool that's, you know, designed to deal some damage, but you know, there is a hatchery behind it. Of course, how could I forget? Yesterday we had a drone pool with the 12 pool. It was, yeah,
a drone pull with the 12 pool, or a drone, like, it's a bit of a mouthful.
Oh god. And just like yesterday, this time the defending Zerg player, I believe, went hatch gas pool.
He did, in fact. Hatch gas pool, exactly. We will still have to see Vivid going for, or we will still have to see Vivid going for some pretty good drone drilling, or rather, he's going to have to rely on good drone drilling right now. He does get a pretty good surround here on top of a lot of these Zerglings, but the Zerglings do manage to break on through. Already taking out 6 drones. That is way more than Vivid was looking to lose.
Yeah, that may just be too much damage. Like, ideally, you lose like maybe 1 or 2 drones. And yeah, you just kind of dance back and forth. But Vivid, he committed a little bit too much, and now I don't know.
It's definitely looking rough. MightyKiwi is looking to really take down this natural hatchery, but it might not go that way. Vivid has committed to this, but thanks to the additional links as well as the Queen, going to be able to finally clear this out. And Vivid, he took quite a bit of damage there. He is now down 9 drones versus 17, but at the end of the day, he's held. And he's got gas.
Yeah, he did hold, but that was an insane amount of damage. So I'm really curious to see what Vivid does now. You know, I feel like he's a very active Zerg player. He can be very aggressive. You know, we've seen him do like a lot with like dropper lords and things like that. So yeah, like what's Vivid's plan? Like, I'm sure he doesn't plan to like try and transition into a full-on macro game from here.
Well, his options are a little bit limited for the time being. It's not a lot of minerals that he's got. I was thinking, you know, maybe try to get link speed, but yeah, in hindsight, that would probably take a little bit too long. MightyKiwi is starting to get his gases. So we might be seeing a switch pretty soon.
MightyKiwi, he's just like, again, like both players weren't mining gas for the longest time, so MightyKiwi takes 2 at once to catch up. Surprisingly, Vivid is taking his own link speed. Yeah, I don't know what to expect here. Well,
I'm not sure what to expect in terms of you know, what the players decide to do, but yeah, if Vivid decides to go really aggressive, I don't think it's going to work out. But at the same time, he's definitely fighting an uphill battle here. He can't really, unless he decides to go super greedy.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, MightyKiwi, he's got a full wall off, you know. He could be going for 2-base muta. No lair quite yet, though. Still on hatch tech, so we'll see what MightyKiwi decides to do, whether it's muta, whether it's Nidus as well. That's also possible off of lair tech. And yeah, Vivid, as a response, he's just being incredibly greedy. He's taking his third base. He's just been droning up this entire time.
Yeah, which I kind of like, but at the same time, you really have to make sure that you have the defenses up, right? When you're going to be, when you're using this as a response.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's really cool that he's being incredibly greedy. This is nice, but you also need to know when it is to stop droning and making units. And he's working on +1 range, and this is scary.
The roaches. This is just going to be a straight up roach printer coming out of MightyKiwi. Then I thought based on the gas count, we might be seeing a Muta switch, which is still a possibility. But MightyKiwi is now dedicated to these roaches. He knows that, you know, there's not going to be anything underground here for Vivid. He can push across the map with some Goliath Constitution and deal more damage, if not end the game.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to push out, and we'll see how many defensive roaches there will be for Vivid. I do believe Vivid, he's getting around to the point where he wants to stop droning, and he's going to be making nothing but roaches. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. He has some gas. He's taking all 4 now.
Okay, that's quite a good step.
Yeah. Oh God, he's still droning.
That's quite a bit of an owie. And now MightyKiwi, you know, he's had this overseer at the third base location for quite a while. This is a pretty good pick-off for Vivid. Yeah. They have 2 queens and now confirms that the roaches are on their way. This is, again, this is the start of Vivid starting to turn this around.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
to get those roaches in position, though.
Like, if he can hold, like, he has the faster third base. I believe he doesn't have faster upgrades, but he does have that going for him. We'll see if he can utilize that as the roaches are already about to hit his third base.
Yeah, we do see Vivid moving a couple of roaches of his own, trying to meet these. Goliath Constitution is gonna finish from MightyKiwi, but not quick enough. Vivid has the defender's advantage. He has the concave and the much higher roach supply. But MightyKiwi is continuing to press this, which I'm not sure is the right move. He's already lost a ton of his supply.
Yeah, and I love the micro here from Vivid. I don't know if you noticed, but he keeps pulling back the injured roaches. That's why he has so many at such low health. And
he does it without Goliath.
Yeah. Oh God, but he has to be careful, especially since MightyKiwi is looking to try and chase him down.
Yeah, well, he knows that he's ahead of supply for the time being. At least when it comes to this location. Oh no, the Ravager! That would have been such a sick move if that Ravager match finished popping in, but now you can really see how the upgrades and, you know, just having that extra speed on these roaches can really help in this roach war. Vivid is trying to kite, and MightyKiwi is not letting that happen. GG is called. MightyKiwi takes game number 1.
Yeah, that was looking pretty good for a moment there for Vivid, and again, it was impressive because he lost so many workers in the beginning. I was like, oh God, like, can he make a game out of this? And he tried. Like, he definitely, like, you know, he had like this transition plan. He was very greedy. He tried to get back into the game, but yeah, at the end of the day, that was a lot of dead drones in the begining. Do
you think he overextended a bit there with those roaches?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, it's a hard call to make because like you're winning the fight. It's like, oh, I can like maybe pick off a couple more roaches, and you know, you don't really know how far away roach speed is, right? Like it's something that you can't really tell. But yeah, as soon as roach speed finished, he was just caught out.
Yeah, definitely was. We're gonna go on to game number 2 right now, and Darking in chat. El Bastión sin preguntas, Sebastian without questions?
Yeah.
I think I said something like that, yeah?
You did say that, yes.
I think I said something like that.
Bearing in mind that Yaku, he types something in and then he Google translates. Not exactly the most grammatically correct, but that's so good.
Ich habla español. No, expresa española. And we are now gonna go on to Death Aura LE. Usually when I think of Death Aura, I think of radiation, but it might not be. It just might be like a passive thingy or whatnot. In the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map, we do in fact have a teal Zerg player coming down all the way from New Zealand, the land down under. He is representing Mindfreak SC. Give it up for MightyKiwi.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the Australian Zerg player representing himself as well as OSC Elite. It is Vivid. All right, so this time, oh, go on.
Go ahead. No.
Go on.
I kind of want to call Vivid the piano man, but his
the
talents
pianist.
extend from that. The pianist?
Yeah, the pianist.
Yeah, the pianist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. I feel like that should probably be Lucero, but sure, yeah. There you go.
Oh, absolutely. I was thinking like maybe Snoot, but yeah, no, Lucero has that on lockdown.
Yeah, Snoot is more known for his feet, his DDR, if you recall.
I do.
Yeah.
I do remember Snoot's feet.
But yeah, just talking a little bit about the openers. Vivid did go for a pool first. MightyKiwi for hatch gas pool. But again, it did feel like more of a safety pool first. It wasn't incredibly early or anything like that. So yeah.
It happens a lot more than you might think. It's not. I feel like just because of how the maps have changed in these past couple of years, your Zerg players are no longer able to to really get away with going hatch first and not getting punished for it. So you do see a lot more defensive pool first coming out from the Zerg side.
Yeah, something that was interesting. Oh, nice, does get a drone there. And Vivid, he actually went the long way around the map to avoid the overlord. So this was really nicely done. We'll see if he can get much more damage done here, but doesn't look like it.
Yeah, well, he's got a pretty good scout off here. He managed to take out just one drone, which is a little bit of something. This, though, is something that I don't believe Vivid has seen.
He has not. He has no idea.
That could be an issue.
Yeah, this can be a huge issue actually. So a lot of it does depend on Vivid and where his overlords are placed to see if he can spot the amount of lings that are going to be moving out across the map. I assume so with this incredibly fast Baneling nest, and Vivid he is getting a defensive Baneling nest of his own. So he may have some defensively ready. And oh my god, look what Vivid's he's doing it. He's doing it.
Oh, look at a body block. That is, looks pretty good, and this is the most old school style of this build. Like, Besen Muta Zin Zwei.
2 base muta, my god. And this is interesting as well because he did Maynard a couple of drones down to make it look a little bit more normal. He hasn't taken all 4 of his gases quite yet. Oh god.
But he's about to. The lings are starting to go in, but they're not going into the base. The Baneling manages to connect, and from there, a lot of these drones are starting to get weakened up, but the rest of them are still very, very healthy. And this is important. Vivid continued to deny the scouting.
Yeah. That was really nicely done there. MightyKiwi, he was completely focused on getting drone kills. He didn't even think about going up into the main base. So right now, he has no idea.
Vivid sending the drones down to make it look like he actually has a saturated base. Yeah. That is genius.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much, and we'll see if this can catch him off guard. Again, there's a Ling trying to get up, but oh no, never mind. It's just just Lings chipping away. And yeah, this is interesting. So MightyKiwi, he does have a Ling at the 3rd base location, so he is aware that Vivid is staying on 2 bases for quite some time. That may tip him off that something is amiss. Oh my god.
We do see a straight spire coming out of MightyKiwi as well. What better way to fight mutas than with more mutas? Well, typically Hydras, I think, is the answer. But
and he goes in for a scout.
Goes in and does see the spire.
That he does. So now he's aware of what is coming his way. I do like this as well. Vivid focusing on +1 air attacks, which is what you want if you have the higher muta count. So, and he already has mutas out on the map, so he will be gaining map control. How much damage will he deal across the map though? I don't know, especially because that's a huge for the Lings.
That it is, and yeah, Vivid's gonna have to make a decision: go home and defend, or go in with his mutas. Either way, he cannot waver. If he waits even just a little bit to attack, those 4s are gonna be complete, and he does not have that many mutas out. The 3rd base does get canceled, but these mutas are not quite out yet. He sends the mutas home. Nicely done.
Yeah, and the Banelings just were made a little bit too late because of that, so some workers will go down, and this does buy MightyKiwi time, forcing the mutas to stay at home.
It's really cannot be overstated how much time he's bought himself. The spores are already complete. He's got mutas of his own on the way, and the thing to keep in mind when going 2-base muta like this, you really are not getting a lot of mutalists earlier on. You get those 6 mutas, and then you have a little bit of a lapse in muta production because you'll be focusing more on droning or maybe getting a ground army.
Yeah, definitely.
When you go straight Spire the way that MightyKiwi did, you don't have to wait. You've already got your economy established.
Definitely, and he was able to buy time and take it, like, you know, and able to utilize the stat advantage. And he is working on +1 air defense, which is again what you want to go for if you have the lower mutalist count. So, and he's aware of that. So yeah, we're gonna have this weird muta v muta like dance. I didn't see this too often.
No, you did not. You see a lot of for obvious reasons. You see a lot of Phoenix versus Phoenix battles. But here's the thing that makes Mutalists different from Phoenix is like Mutalists, they have AoE.
Yeah, and I love this coming out from Vivid. He is focusing on his melee ground attack, and that is a bit of the weakness behind Mutalists, is that a lot of the time the Zerg player will focus on making nothing but Mutalists and then doesn't have the ground army to, you know, to defend the bases.
Wait, I have to double check it. Actually, Vivid switched off of melee into Carapace.
Oh,
yeah. I thought maybe it was completed, but alrighty then. Maybe he's going to be focusing more on melee.
Yeah, that he will. And Vivid, he does pick off a couple of Mutalists already. I think that was 2 Mutalists picked off, so he's finding some damage, but both players are getting their 4th bases. Ooh, Vivid trying to deny that of MightyKiwi.
Trying being a keyword there. I do like that Vivid has been able to chip away. The third does get cancelled. Not quite a kill, but it's still, you know, or this 4th base rather. It's still really important to delay this. I do like that Vivid, just by chipping away stray Mutalists here and there, he wasn't really producing that many Mutalists of his own, but because he was able to pick off a couple here and there, slowly he managed to get ahead in that muta count.
Yeah, that was actually really nicely done. And also keeping MightyKiwi on 3 bases as Vivid is getting a 4th of his own. And we'll see if he can continue this. Like, MightyKiwi is trying to catch the Mutalist of Vivid.
Who's going to clump up first, Light? Who's going to clump up more? Yes.
Yeah, and this base is a little bit naked. I'm surprised there weren't any spores thrown down.
Yeah, might be a little bit of confidence in these Mutalists. Vivid is starting to push MightyKiwi away, but MightyKiwi knows that if he just lands 1 volley onto that hatchery, it is dead. He might just take the risk.
Yeah, he may, and at the same time, we do have a couple of lanes trying to sneak into the 3rd of Vivid. He's trying to play #play like Jaedong. Oh god, the Mutas go in.
The Mutas do dive in, and look at all of this clump up from Vivid. It might actually benefit him quite a bit.
Yeah.
MightyKiwi has a pretty good spread, and yeah, it's actually working out pretty dang well here for Vivid.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit hard to tell how this is going, but Vivid, he is going to the safety of, there it is, a spore as well, forcing MightyKiwi back, and I think in the end, Vivid, he's trading well.
Now flanked by the Queens. Yeah, meanwhile on the other side of the map, those Lings did manage to make it into the natural base, and they are wreaking havoc here. 10 drones have already gone down.
Yeah, and again, like, that's why those melee upgrades, or the armor upgrades are so good.
It really is. 20 drones have managed to go down in this game, and now Vivid is back.
Indeed, he is slightly ahead in workers. He has the better army as well. Soon though, +2 air defense will finish up for MightyKiwi, so he will have that advantage for his Mutalists. So Vivid, he has to, you know, make sure he doesn't get too cocky, and he has to make sure he has a couple of defensive banelings, because we do have a huge run by headed towards his base. But he's ready for it.
What a game sense here.
yeah, especially because it's important to bear in mind that all the overlords are dead out on the map, you know, like they have very limited vision right now.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, that they do. Gonna be wanting to rely a bit more on creep there, but at the same time, that's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I still want to give the advantage to Vivid. Like, he has had that 4th base for a lot longer, but he hasn't really been able to use it. Like, there's no drones there at all. He hasn't taken the gases either, which is probably the most important part. Yeah, his 4th base is still kind of trying to be established.
It's kind of weird to see two Zerg players be under 60 supply, I'm going to be honest with you. Or worker supply, I'm going to be honest with you, Light.
Yeah, and again, like because of Vivid's like lack of use of that fourth base, I'm concerned because MightyKiwi, he has his fourth base, he immediately got his gases, like he has that extra income, and it looks like he has the high Mutalisk count.
Yeah, he's got the high Mutalisk count. He is investing so much into them. He has made nothing but Mutalisk upgrades, or his upgrades were only for Mutalisk so far. And now it seems that MightyKiwi is starting to transition out of them. You know, he wants to get a couple of ground upgrades himself. This is a massive run by coming in from Vivid.
This is huge. He maybe even could target the hatchery, but the Ling Bane here, though.
Yeah, I mean, with that +1 Carapace, your Lings can try to tank a Baneling or two, but not when you clump them all up, and not when they really can't sustain too many Baneling hits.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he does get a couple of worker kills, which is really nice. He does keep the army of MightyKiwi back at home. But yeah, we'll see how this progresses. We'll see who's the first player to kind of switch things up, go into Hive, maybe get a Viper for or an Infestor for Fungals.
Parabomb,
that's it.
Love it, yeah.
Oh god, hatchery!
This is another massive run by coming in, and what were you saying, like, that Vivid wasn't able to make use of this fourth base? Yeah, now he doubly can.
Jesus.
And that is a huge pick-off. MightyKiwi just got himself so far ahead. He might force Vivid to overextend here, but he does not.
Yeah, and losing that fourth base hurts so much. And again, Vivid wasn't even using it. He didn't have the gases, didn't have any drones there, and now, like, sure, there are spores, but there's nothing really to do with the ground army.
No, there is not. These Mutalisks are going to take a little while to deal with this army, and every time they do, they're just dragging, they're dragging the Mutalisks of Vivid away when they could be fighting the Mutalisks of MightyKiwi.
Yeah, and Vivid, he's trying to deal some damage across the map. He may get a couple of working kills, but that's not the equivalent of killing an entire hatchery.
No, it is not. Well, at the same time, you might think, like, oh yeah, well, who wasn't making use of that the hatchery anyway?
This is accurate, but he's gonna wish he was, as we do see that he's the first player to throw down an Infestation Pit.
Come on, Infestors. I'm waiting for them, Light.
Yeah, like either one, Infestor for Fungal or Viper for Parabomb. Either one would be amazing against these Mutalisks, and it doesn't matter how far behind you are in the Mutalisk count, like those spells can make or break a fight.
It really can. It's the old adage, right, where that's basically the equalizer in Muta versus Muta.
Yeah, definitely, and there we see it. We have Infestor upgrades on the way for Vivid. We are going to see those Infestors on the way.
Yeah, a little bit more damage being done by Vivid on the other side of the map. I do like that he is going for these Infestor upgrades. He knows that he cannot afford to wait around to get that energy.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll see if he can even get any of them out. Oh god, there's just so many Mutas.
This is the apocalypse of Mutas. When both players get an apocalypse of Mutas, can we call it the Ragnarok? Mutalisk Ragnarok or something like that. Oh, this is it might be. Okay, these Mutalisks are starting to clash. Who is getting ahead here? It is kind of hard to tell. A lot of Vivid's Mutalisks are low, and here we see MightyKiwi is going to be the one to take the advantage, and he might get this Infestation Pit. 10 Infestors are on the way already. But he does, let me double check there, does not deny the upgrade. These Infestors will be able to get the Fungals, and there's one, there is another. And this is the first step.
Yeah, it's the first step, but there may just not be enough Mutalisks to do this. All the Fungals, though!
Even more Fungals. There are 10 Infestors, like, yeah.
Jesus
Do not underestimate them. MightyKiwi's Mutalisks, they are actually still hanging on strong, but they are finally starting to run out of steam. They're so down in the red. Jesus, these Fungals, they just keep on coming, like.
Yeah, and he kept most of the Infestors alive.
Out! That was beautiful to watch.
Wow! Oh my god.
Fungals here, like.
Yeah.
Like, even Parabomb, you can try to micro away.
I was just not expecting the amount of Fungals coming out. Like, he made, as you said, 10 Infestors.
Yeah. And he did manage to secure his pathogen glands, is that what it's called? The energy upgrade just before the Infestation Pit went down.
Yeah, that he did, but the big problem is that Spire was sniped. These Mutalisks for Vivid are the only Mutalisks he has out on the map. Like, he lost so many tech structures, he can't even make any more Infestors. He lost the Infestation Pit. So, now what's he gonna do? He's just gonna rely on the ground army. He's making 24 Lings.
Yeah, this is kind of his basically the only thing he had spent his minerals on,
Yeah.
other than maybe drones. But yeah, that's a bit of a risky maneuver here. And the mutalists are back for MightyKiwi, and Vivid kind of spent his energy on those infestors. The Banelings, Vivid pulling a bit of a Meal Micah.
Oof.
And GG's called. What? Phone. And that was a beautiful move there, I gotta tell you, Light. But yeah, in the end, MightyKiwi was just too ahead for way too long, and was kind of able to shrug that off.
Yeah, wow, GG, well played. Like, I love the way Vivid played that. Like, yeah, he did lose, but those were some nice moves. Those were some sick moves. That was beautiful to see. And yeah, I'm honestly a little bit surprised because there was, for quite some time, I feel like Vivid was ahead, but again, he just didn't really utilize the advantages that he had. Like,
exactly, that's how I feel about it. It was ahead in terms of army supply, but for just way too long, I feel like MightyKiwi was ahead in economy. And even when we saw that massive run by go in, you know, kill off 20 drones, MightyKiwi just was still even on workers.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like Vivid, he was constantly killing workers. He killed the fourth base, or canceled the fourth base, if you recall, in the very beginning. He kept winning these mutalist fights. Like he was doing everything right, except he wasn't capitalizing on his economy. He, even though he had the fourth base faster, he never used it, right? That's probably the biggest thing. He got sniped later on, and then in the end, he could just never establish it. Period.
Exactly. Those I really do like what you said with the infestors. You know, those fungals were amazing, and he was able to follow up. He was able to follow up there with his what mutalists he had left. How is he going to follow up after that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And for now, the ESL website is a little bit screwy.
Yeah, it's having some issues. It's having a little bit of a heart attack. Hopefully we've got some ESL admins giving it some CPR.
Yeah,
I don't know if that helps with the heart attack, but
I mean, it's like, wait, yeah, it's like a restarts the heart because they're like pumping the blood to it,
yeah,
or like pumping the blood because normally the heart pumps the blood, but the heart can't, so you're just gonna pump the blood temporarily until the heart can sort of wake up.
And on that note, thank you so much, Carolyn, for the 15 subs, 15 months in a row.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, normally we quack. Today, I think, in commemoration of our new emote, we should trumpet sound.
I know.
What? What?
I would love to. I feel like Kuro is the one who needs to do it with the trumpets. To be fair, I don't know if we can, because she has actual trumpets. I don't know if we want to ruin our voices trying to imitate trumpet sounds at the start of the cast.
What
was that?
Wait, what if I... Hold on.
Are you like, what, do you even know what a trumpet sounds like?
Oh, that's more like a vuvuzela.
Oh god.
Anyway, thank you very much, Kerwin. We will get you your trumpet sound soon, TM. You can hold light to that. We're going to go into our second series of the evening. It's going to be another ZvZ, a MightyKiwi versus Demi, who screenshotted, did math.